Hello, we are going to talk about picture styles. So let's turn on your camera here, your DSLR, and then you're going to go to menu, and there you have picture styles. Go ahead and click on that, and it's going to bring up a list of presets that Canon has built into the camera. And then right here you have 3 sections where you can make your own custom picture styles. Now, if you click on the info button, it will bring up these 4 attributes to allow for further customization within each of the presets. As you can see, the 4 attributes are sharpness, contrast, saturation, and color tone. First is the sharpness. So let's go ahead and set that all the way down to 0. And as you can see, that gives you a very soft image. And when you have it set at the highest point to 7, you can see that it gives you a very sharp image. I'll show you an example of your contrast all the way down and your contrast all the way up. And of course, your saturation controls the colors. So this is with the saturation all the way down, and this is with saturation all the way up. Now your color tones controls your green to red hues and tints. So when you have this all the way down, it's going to make your image more red. And when you have it all the way right, it's going to make your image more green. So now that you understand what each of these 4 numbers mean and how they affect each of these picture styles, let's take a look at an image shot in each of these picture styles so you can see the difference of each. Starting with the first is auto, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's the camera automatically choosing the best settings that it thinks it should be. The next one down is standard. It looks like the main difference going from auto to standard is that it's not quite as saturated. Then going from standard to portrait, it looks like we gained some saturation back and it's not quite as sharp. It's a little bit softer of an image. Going from portrait to landscape, it looks more saturated and more contrasted. From landscape to neutral, you'll see a big difference as sharpness on neutral is 0 compared to 4 on landscape. So this is a much softer image, and it's a lot less contrasty and saturated as well. Hence the name neutral, all the settings are at 0. Going from neutral to faithful, it looks a little bit more saturated and looks like it might be a little bit more red toned. As you go into monochrome, you'll notice that you don't have an option for saturation or color tone. I wouldn't recommend shooting in monochrome. I'd recommend taking away color in post instead of limiting yourself to only black and white out of camera. The next one is a custom preset that I actually picked up from Devin Graham. On this one, he has the sharpness all the way down to 0. And the reason for that is that Canon's sharpness out of camera isn't very clean. It looks kind of fake and plasticky. So we prefer to set it all the way down to 0. The contrast is set down just 1 notch, and the saturation and color tones are up 1 notch. This is the picture style that I used on almost every Devin Supertramp shoot, and the reason for that is because it gives a very happy, vibrant tone to the video. And since most of the videos we did at Devin Supertramp were very happy and vibrant, it was a perfect fit for that style. Another popular picture style is called Cinestyle, which has the sharpness all the way down, the contrast all the way down, and the saturation down a few notches as well. This is done to give a very flat look so that you can retain as much detail as possible, allowing you to have more control over the image as you edit and color correct in post. I would only recommend using Cinestyle if you're very familiar with color correcting or have a very specific look in mind that you can't achieve out of camera. Here's a look at all the picture styles side by side so you can compare and see how they stand up against one another. As you can see, there's not a huge difference between any of them except for maybe the monochrome, but it's still important to understand the differences between them and decide which is best for you in certain situations. People will ask all the time, how do you get the colors to look so good? What are your color correcting techniques? And honestly, the picture profile plays a huge part in this. I don't spend a lot of time in post color correcting when I'm shooting Canon cameras because I use a picture style that allows me to get most of the colors and looks that I want in camera. So that is the importance of picture styles. If you guys have any questions, let me know.